best-fed nation on earth. That's what they say. The people of the USA. You and me. They say we eat more and better food in greater variety than any other nation on earth. Most of us know it. But it's good to be reminded now and then, and it might be a good idea to have a look behind the scenes to find out where this generous bounty comes from. Fruits and vegetables, for instance, perishables. And how do they get from where they grow to the stores and markets, and then to our kitchens and our tables? Whether St. Louis, New York, Boston, Detroit, Philadelphia, Columbus, Ohio, or practically any place in the United States, the chances are the next orange you eat or the next glass of juice you drink will be from California or Arizona. And the same goes for grapefruit and lemons. That green salad you had for lunch, it probably came from the Salt River Valley in Arizona, one of the most productive lettuce-growing regions in the country. As for grapes, plums, peaches, apricots, nectarines, and other popular summer fruits, chances are they come to you from California. These are all foods known as perishables. In other words, subject to a relatively fast rate of spoilage after picking. And it's a long stretch of country between the growing fields of the Southwest and Far West and consumer markets of the Middle West and East. The question then is, how are such perishables kept fresh and fit to eat? 2,000 and 3,000 miles in transit through summer heat and winter frost. The answer is protective service provided by the railroads. Preservation against spoilage by refrigeration during the summer shipping season, by heater service during the winter shipping season, and all that has been a vital factor in the growth and development of Western agriculture and the proper feeding of the nation. The development of the railroad has gone hand in hand with the development of the fruit and vegetable industry throughout the territory it serves. As far back as 1885, when this was Wild West territory and the cultivation of fruits and vegetables was only an agricultural sideline, a direct line was opened east from the heart of the citrus country in Southern California. Faster and better service eastbound. This became the salient demand of the growers and shippers of the region. The challenge was accepted, cutting hours and days from operating schedules of perishable trains eastbound. Today, perishable freight trains eastbound from California, Arizona, and Texas operate at speeds and on schedules once considered possible only for passenger traffic, arriving at destination with produce in as good condition as the day it was shipped. How is it done, and what are the individual factors that make it possible? First and foremost, the modern refrigerator car, the largest fleet owned by any individual railroad. Let's get on board for a close-up look at its interior construction. Today's modernized refrigerator car has metal floor racks, perforated to permit easy circulation of air. These racks are hinged to the wall and can be lifted and hooked out of the way to allow cleaning of car floor. Car floors and walls are waterproof. Until recently, wall, floor, and roof insulation was 3 or 3.5 inches. Modernization means 4 or 4.5 inches of insulation in standard cars and 7 or 7.5 inches in super insulated cars. While the majority of our refrigerator cars are fan cars. Fans like this, at each end of the car, provide forced circulation of ice-chilled air, thereby cooling the entire load with practically no temperature differential between top and bottom. This illustrates the force of cold air circulation maintained by fans in transit. The process is reversed, with warmed air circulating around the load. Santa Fe was the first major railroad to convert 100% to the use of liquid fuel automatic heaters. Another improvement designed for more efficient protective service in transit are stage icing grates. It is this car that makes possible the safe transport of every variety of fruit and vegetable, as well as other perishables like meats and dairy products, over vast distance, in summer heat and winter cold, every day of the year. Unlike the staple agricultural grain products, wheat, corn, barley, rye, for example, most fresh fruits and vegetables cannot be stored and held for future shipment. Delay in shipment of perishables can mean serious loss due to spoilage and economic disaster for growers and shippers. Prior to harvest time, therefore, hundreds, sometimes thousands of refrigerator cars are moved to the loading area in order to have sufficient equipment conditioned and available during the peak loading period. Along the system, in California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, there are more than 200 loading stations, ready to load as many as 900 cars a day during the peak harvest seasons. It takes precision planning and organization to handle these peak movements at top efficiency. Mechanical checking throughout the entire train. Every car thoroughly cleaned for loading. Icing operations checked. The yardmaster and his crew taking care of switching cars into proper trains and blocks. Communications department wiring ahead information having to do with forwarding advice, wheel reports, and switch lists. This is the cross-section of operational activity that keeps Operation Perishables rolling eastbound throughout the year from 4 main points of origin in the Southwest, each train known by its own individual symbol. Most of these trains operate on regular schedules throughout the year. Some of them operate on a seasonal basis to meet harvesting and shipping requirements. From California, the famous GFX, all-year train eastbound out of Bakersfield when loaded in Central or Northern California, out of San Bernardino when loaded in Southern California, bound for Kansas City, Chicago, and connecting lines east. Also the CTX from Southern California, the BTX from Northern California. All-year trains serving Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston, Galveston, and other Texas destinations, and connecting with other lines to the southeast. From Blythe, California, the seasonal PVX, Palo Verde Valley Express, to Chicago. From Arizona, out of Phoenix, the SRX, Salt River Valley Express, seasonal train to Chicago, with connection at Clovis, New Mexico, with the Texas Express to principal cities in Texas. And from Hereford, Texas, the seasonal HAX, Hereford Amarillo Express, to Chicago. This, then, is the regular scheduled transport of the many different perishables carried by Santa Fe. Citrus, potatoes, deciduous fruits, lettuce, grapes, celery, melons, and other fruits and vegetables. But in order to give a more comprehensive picture of the eastbound movement of perishables, let's take just one item and follow it from its growing area to eastern markets. One of the biggest and toughest transportation problems of the year is moving California's late spring and early summer crop of potatoes. Potatoes are perishables, and so are potato markets. This means a 2,200-mile run over the mountains, across the Great Plains, to get to eastern potato markets before potatoes in other areas ripen in quantity. In other words, California potatoes have to beat the eastern harvest and get to Chicago and other eastern cities before market prices drop. This means tight operating schedules. Long before harvest time, a company agricultural agent, along with refrigerator department officials in the potato area, primarily Kern County, California, secure statistics on the acreage and the size of the year's potato crop by checking the Kern County growers, shippers, and the Department of Agriculture. Reports are sent to Chicago headquarters for study and analysis by the refrigerator freight traffic and transportation departments.